Welcome back to a new series that I'm calling Living. Oh, crap. Welcome back to the Misperception Podcast. I'm your host, Destiny. I'm so happy that you're back and you're watching another episode. Sorry about the delay. So instead of saying happy Sunday, I got to wish you a happy Monday, everybody. Last week did wrap up our Living on Purpose series. So this week is going to be a brand new series that I'm naming Let It Fall Apart. This is going to be really good. And I'm excited. I'm super excited to keep going on this journey. We're going to try to tune it up a notch for the upcoming month of August. But for July, I got the goal to just stay consistent, Destiny. Stay consistent. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this episode. Let it fall apart and then choose you. If you're ever in a situation where you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to choose, and you're in this state of confusion, choose yourself. Put all of your focus, all of your energy, all of your residuals on yourself. Always act in your best interest. You will never fail acting in your best interest. Choose yourself. What is the best? What will work in the best outcome? What will contribute to the best outcome for you? And a lot of times we don't like to be the person that's deemed selfish. We don't want to be like having the stigma of or the negative connotation with a selfish person. But there comes a point in everybody's life where you have to be selfish. You have to be able to consider yourself solely. Because honestly, if you are considering anybody outside of yourself, that's no longer your decision. That's y'all's decision. That's y'all's decision. If you are making a decision based upon your partner, based upon your marriage, based upon your children, based upon how people may see you, based upon the applause, right, or the attention that you may get, that's no longer your decision. When was the last time you acted solely off of your best interest? I feel like I'm getting into the nitty-gritty early, but consider partnership where there is either neglect or there is abuse in some type of form. That could be emotional, physical. We often see that partnerships that have abusive partner, and the abused partner do not often make decisions in their best interest. Their decisions are rooted in something else, whether it's a fear or something else that's present. For instance, children. You will see many times that women will stay with a neglectful or abusive partner in for the sake of the kids, for the sake of keeping this family together so those children don't have to know how it feels to grow up in a fatherless or motherless, depending on who the abuser is, household, right? That's not a decision that someone is making solely for themselves. That's a decision that they're making based upon their children. Also based upon the fact that that might be a wound for them. That may be a wound for them. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that will be a wound for those children. I'm not saying that a two-parent household or a single-parent household, which one is better or not. That's not the conversation that I'm having. What I'm saying is that with either situation, deciding to stay or deciding to leave, you allow that influence. You are influenced either solely or because you're considering something, right? So you think that oftentimes you think that, oh, I am protecting my children from the wounds of a fatherless household, benefits or whatever to having a father in the household. That's what they're saying. Sometimes when we are acting in an interest that isn't solely our own, we are doing others a disservice, with or without really knowing it. sometimes in order to protect someone, you have to do what's best for you. And in that moment, it will seem selfish. It will seem, it will be frustrating sometimes, even for you, because you'll be changing and you won't necessarily know who you're becoming. And you'll be getting, honestly, feedback or rejections or opinions from people who matter to you, and they won't be in your favor any longer. I spent some time last year in therapy, and my therapist at the time said the kindest words to me. She said, Destiny, it looks like you're finally finding your way. I went into therapy in a confused, conflicted, emotional state. So when she said this to me, I said, that's my expression. So that was my expression to her. But I'm looking at her and I'm like, that's not really a reflection of how I'm feeling. And in that second, it reminded me where I came from. And that was the testament. I know where I'm going, for once. But that didn't come without error. That didn't come without me making the wrong decisions or doing things for the applause of people, doing things for the appeasement of others, doing things for my relationships, doing things for my friendships, doing things for my family. Because all you want to do is help. All you want to do is be of service. But that compromises the relationship, even if you think it's helping, even if you think it's beneficial. And that's why it's so important to have a season of just being selfish. You have to convince yourself that selfishness is not a negative. It's not a negative character trait, even though they have convinced us that it is. But I started therapy and she told me that it looks like you're finally finding your way. And it was the kindest thing somebody had said to me, because I don't know, like, I feel like I spent a large portion of my life just running away from anything that did not serve me, running away from environments that, I couldn't grow in, or running away from anything that was negative. I was running away from it, and I will physically run. But I will be honest, I have like, and I won't say also like it's a past, I have a escapism mentality. But she said that to me, and it was the kindest thing I have heard, because I spent a large portion of my life running away from all things or everything. And not out of fear, but out of the fact that I did not want this. I always could have said something and say, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I'm going to go this way. And don't get me wrong, that's a good thing to have, because you're not going to settle for just anything. However, I didn't really have an idea where I was going. I just knew I was going away from that. And even the times when I could not physically run away from something, I would mentally escape. And escapism is a thing. It's really a true thing. But I will escape mentally. And I remember getting a lot of opinions on this. Oh, Destiny, she just lives in a fantasy world. You need to get hold of reality, right? But the thing about it was, I fully understood my reality. That's why I escaped. Like, people try to convince us that these coping mechanisms are unhealthy. But coping mechanisms, when you shift your perspective about them, are means to survive. The truth is, If I would face my reality instead of mentally escape it, I wouldn't have survived it. Reality would have broke me, right? The thing about coping mechanisms, they're not meant to serve you forever, but they are meant to take you to that next place. But yeah, I would escape mentally, and I wasn't going to a fantasy world, some make-believe crap that society kind of made up. I was transcending spiritually. I was being taken spiritually to places that literally preserved me, that protected me. That's what I was actually doing. That was selfish in that moment. Learn to be selfish, right? Because not only does that protect you, it gets you so much closer to where you're supposed to be going, where you're headed. So I'm in this confused state. I'm in therapy. I'm in this confused state. She say all that to me. And I remember actively, and this is what I mean when I say you can't take it with you forever. I was actively challenging myself not to cope, but to conquer. Yes, I was no longer in survival mode when I went to therapy. I wasn't in survival mode, but I am a woman that's committed to just learning, to healing, to growing. And so when I got into a place where I was confused, I wanted a perspective or honestly an influence that I could trust. And she said, it looks like you're finally finding your way. And that spoke to where I had been. And it confirmed that, Destiny, you got to make this decision solely based on you. Solely based on you. Not what anyone expects or desires from you, but only solely what you want. Yes, that came with name calling. That came with losing friendship. That came with launching this podcast, right? You're gonna lose and you're gonna take some L's and you're gonna take some W's. You're gonna lose and win. But with each step, you're gonna get closer to becoming that version of you that you have in your imagination, no matter who comes or who goes. So I'm trying to conquer and not cope this time by learning to choose solely off of destiny, solely off of what destiny wants. It doesn't matter. And I know it gets so difficult, especially when you are surrounded by loved ones and you want to act in both of y'all's interests. You want to do that. But oftentimes I have learned that trying to please both parties sometimes isn't sustainable. It's not, honestly, it's just not the right thing to do. You're actively going against alignment. You're actively going against alignment because the alignment tells you to run and your partner is still walking. Your only obligation is to say, love you, gotta go. I gotta run. Because you don't know when your partner is going to be called to run too. A lot of times when it comes to, especially women caring for themselves, they have a tendency not to. And some of it is society pressures, but I think some of it is inherent. Women are naturally nurturers. We give so much of ourselves to literally create. If we're just even if we're just talking about creation, you give so much of yourself just to create. Women in particular have to get used to being selfish, especially when the time comes. Because the thing about pouring and nurturing and healing, all of that is an extraction from you. So if you don't have the right support or the right tools, then you are going to end up depleting because of your inability to choose yourself. Get selfish and don't allow nobody to make you feel bad about doing it. It's okay. And I'm not telling anybody to compromise what they got going on. But I'm saying a lot of times we see women have children and they forget about who they are. We see women get into partnership and get married and forget about who they are. Stop doing the things that made them unique. Stop doing the things that made their husband attract to them. We see people lose themselves in careers. The best thing you can be on this planet is yourself. The most authentic person you can be is you. So why are you changing that? Why are you compromising on that? Why aren't you being selfish? Even if that's a once a week. It's my selfish hour. Once a day. I'll even challenge you once a day, a selfish hour for the people that got busy schedules and you got to work up to it. My selfishness is not because I'm a single woman. Selfishness is because I have to self-preserve. And everybody else does too, men included. When I started self-preserving, I did start to smile. And they were genuine, real, wholesome smiles. And the thing about it is, I was so used to creating fake ones that when the real ones, a real smile came into my life, bro, I was doing everything by any means necessary. I'm gonna keep generating these bad boys. Authentic smiles became my addiction. At this point, I want to be me. Everything outside of my flesh is going to convince me to be nothing of who I am. I hope that makes sense. So in that sense, I'm going to actively challenge and charge it to myself to be selfish. So I ask you, how often do you choose yourself? How often do you make decisions that's solely for you, that's in your best interest? So remember, confusion is necessary to the process. And honestly, I don't function properly. So I'm the type of girl that's going to pray for clarity. I'm going to pray to be delivered from this season. When I had my latest season of confusion, I'm praying to God, could you give me some clarity? Can you deliver me from this season? I don't know what to do. I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to do all I can do to not be confused. My situation didn't change. And I told y'all before, God answered my prayers. My situation didn't change. What that meant for me was not that he was not answering me, that God was answering me. The fact that he allowed me to maintain to exist still in this moment of uncertainty was teaching me what to do when I'm met with confusion. Focus my attention on myself. Confusion is literally just me don't know which way to go. There's so many options. I don't know what to do. This person can be good. That person can be good. That route could be great. That's what I know back there. That's what I'm used to. It's so many options to choose from. That's where confusion comes from. Confusion isn't godly. Okay, so not knowing that confusion isn't godly and godly allowing me to be in a confused state, I'm protected. Let me focus on me. Confusion started to clear up. I'm protected by God. Confusion started to clear up. If you're ever confused, if you don't remember nothing else from this video, if you're ever confused, focus on yourself. Stop asking God to clear up the confusion, the uncertainty that's around you. Start asking God to fix, clear up what's inside of you. Forget what's happening around you. And as he cleans your system and give you the tools that you need, that only you need, that situation that was foggy is going to become very clear. So again, let it fall apart. Whatever situation that you're in, and you're holding that thing on by a thread. You're trying to make sure this marriage works. You're trying to make sure your kids um, have this ideal household that you constructed. How about we just let it fall apart? If things isn't working with ease, with the alignment, let it fall apart. And then choose you. You will never lose when you choose yourself. And because you are a protected person, your fruit will be too. Making decisions based on your kids is not you making a decision for you. I wanted to go to school and be a nurse, but I got married instead. I wanted to be an astronaut, but instead I decided to, I don't know, flip burgers because the money came quicker. Sure, I can get personal. For me, I decided to go get my degree because that's what I was told to do. It would have made my family proud to go do it. It would have broke, and I literally was a first generation student. That's something we could be proud of. That's something that changes the trajectory of what we can attain in our family, right? But that wasn't my decision, no matter how much I said it was. Anyways, we're at the end of the podcast. I'm so happy that you got to this point. We are at episode 6, and that seems so crazy to say. I'm growing, y'all. I'm growing. I'm getting excited, and I hope that you grab something from this one. This is a new series we call Let It Fall Apart. Stay tuned to our next episode that will drop on Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. The quote of the day. Do not let me close this without going to the quote of the day. Y'all was gonna be upset about that one. The quote of the day. I'm sorry, I almost left it. All right, so we're down to the quote of the day, and it reads: "Mistakes are a fact of life. It's a response to the errors that count." And I'll say it one more time. Mistakes are a fact of life. It's a response to the errors that count. When you're on this journey to choosing yourself, you're actively going against your nervous system to stay the same, right? Our nervous system is wired for us to stay comfortable, stay safe. Do not put yourself in any risky danger situations, whether that's literally or mentally or emotionally. You're actively going to be going against yourself. It's going to be a you versus you situation. And you're going to be becoming a version of yourself that you're not familiar with. That's okay. Listen to your body in this space. Listen to your heart. Tune into and be receptive of the cues that your body gives you to let you know that you're becoming aligned. Sometimes that's going to be the only indicator that you have. Remember, you will make some mistakes. As I mentioned earlier, I took a lot of wrong routes. I took so many, but I'm not ashamed or apologetic for either route that I took, for any mistake that I've made. I will bear my mistakes right here so that others don't have to. Be selfish. Find out who you are, where you're going, and what direction you want to go in.